There are 3 things this apple tree behind me teaches us about abundance and money. So let's dive in. First of all, it's not the fruit on its branches that make it an apple tree, my friend. Now, I'm clear. It's what allows you and I to recognize it's an apple tree, but it's not what makes it an apple tree. What made this apple tree an apple tree, you could say, would be the seed that someone planted in the ground behind me some 30, 40 years ago. But it's not even the seed, because we call it an apple seed, not a, I don't know, let's see what it grows into seed, right? It's what's inside the seed. Inside that seed that someone planted behind me 30, 40 years ago was this life force, this DNA of apple that allowed it to break through its shell, sprout some roots, grow up through the soil, create some leaves, then some branches, and 30, 40 years later be this huge tree laden with fruit. Okay? Same thing is true for you and me when it comes to abundance. The externals are not what make us abundant. It's not how much money we have and the house we live in and our accomplishments and our successes and the goals we have achieved and the vacations we've taken. None of that is what makes us abundant. In fact, oftentimes our pursuit of that, thinking that is what makes us abundant, actually creates experiences of scarcity in our lives. What makes us abundant, my friend, is inside of us as well. Inside of us, there we have a DNA. I call it our divine nature of abundance. We are, in our essence, we are made in the image of the one who created this beautiful and abundant world that we live in. That's the life force inside of us. And that life force inside of us of abundance that's powerful and loving and creative and resourceful and generous and open, all of that, that's who we are. And so that's what needs to break through its shell, grow some roots, sprout through the soil, and be expressed outward in the world. Not because doing that makes us abundant, but because that's how we get to experience our abundance and become more fully who we were created to be. Apple tree, Teresa tree, pear tree, I don't know. Okay? That's the first thing. In the archetype of scarcity, we are so ingrained that the externals are going to create the internals, that sense of abundance and well-being and all of that. It doesn't work that way. We have to learn to connect with our DNA, to experience it, to trust it, and then to break through the shell of a lot of our scarcity perceptions that are inaccurate, the scarcity beliefs and wounds we have, break through the shell that is the box I call the archetype of scarcity, and begin to express what's inside of us, has always been inside of us, outward in our choices, in our actions, in how we live our lives, so that we get to experience ourselves as more loving and powerful and resourceful and creative and generous, as abundant. And the world gets to experience the fruit of that as well. Final thing, money isn't what makes us abundant. Lack of money isn't what makes us scarce. Money has nothing to do with abundance, my friend, other than this. Money is for us a life-giving resource, like rain and water is for this apple tree. Now, for that apple seed to have broken through its shell, grown roots, grown up, and become this apple tree, it needed rain, it needed water. But the water and the rain isn't what make it apple. It was already apple. All the water and rain did was allow it to grow into a fuller expression of its appleness. That's the role money plays, my friend. It's not what makes us abundant. It's a resource that we need to learn how to access and utilize in ways that allow us to grow into a fuller expression of our DNA, of our abundance. Because when we do that, one, we'll create a lot of fruit that that other people will get to enjoy and be blessed by, that will serve others, okay? And secondly, that fruit will have us experience abundance and have others recognize abundance in us. That's my wish for you, my friend. That's my wish for me, is that you can fully become a more full expression of who you were created to be, that you can claim your DNA, your divine nature of abundance, and that you can begin to grow, break through the shell, out of the box of scarcity, and trust that and begin to express that more and more outwardly, and that you use money in service of that. If you like the sound of that, if you don't have a clue how to go about doing that, let's connect, because that's my special sauce. Connecting you and me and others with our DNA, and then learning how to access and utilize money in service of growing that more in the world. Not just for you, but because that's how we can create a different world. We can bless the world, my friend, with the abundant fruit of our lives.